Welcome to Back of the Room. My guest today is a local stand-up comedian, kind of new on the scene, but killing it. It's Bree Munnich. What's up, Bree? How you doing?
Doing good, Jimmy. How are you?
Doing all right. I'm a little tired, but, you know.
That's Saturday.
Yeah.
That's Saturday.
You're doing the shows here. How they been going?
Show's been going good. Honestly, kind of surprised to get this weekend. Dove's, he's really good. So, great person to work with. And JB's featuring. I've never gotten to
nice.
work with
Yeah,
JB.
he's hilarious.
JB's never actually seen me before. So
Oh, yeah?
It's a good opportunity for me, for sure. He's been helping me, giving me some advice.
Nice.
So
Yeah, I think I saw Dove maybe like 4 or 5 years ago when he was at Helium, I think, or somewhere. But,
Okay.
yeah, he seemed like a good dude.
yeah, I've seen his specials before. So, I
Yeah.
knew of him, and I was like, oh, you want me to host? I got to wash some pants. Shit.
That's always good. You got to look good up there.
Yeah.
How long you been doing it?
9 months.
9 months. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I know it'd been pretty recent, but I wasn't sure on the exact time frame. But that's cool.
Yeah, I was shocked. Will O'Donnell talked to me the other day, and he was like, he asked me how long I've been doing it, and he was like, how long were you doing it before you moved here, like where you're from? And I was like, I wasn't. And he was like, really? Me and Greg thought you were an out-of-towner, I guess, this whole time. So I was like, whoa, okay, that's crazy.
So are you from St. Louis?
No.
Where are you from?
Chicago area.
Okay.
But I've kind of lived all over the Midwest.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so I lived in Joplin for a while when I was a kid.
Okay.
I lived in the Chicago, in actual south side of Chicago for a while, but then I also lived an hour south when I went to college, and I've lived in central Illinois. I live here now.
It's kind of all over Missouri and Illinois.
Yeah.
Gotcha. That's cool. So did you move to St. Louis and then just kind of start doing comedy, or was it a kind of a conscious decision?
It was kind of a mixture of a lot of things. So I started comedy for me started in, I make videos online.
Okay.
And I've been doing that for 4 years now. And I had some success telling some stories about my life on there. And then the main thing I do is funny cooking videos. So I kind of do cooking videos, but it's not about the recipe and what I make at all. It's if something bad happens, I'll clip it, and that's what goes on the internet, kind of like comedy.
Yeah.
Or if somebody yells out, you'll probably clip that and put it on the internet.
Nice.
And I went really viral from that. I made this soup, and everybody was obsessed with the soup. I got 14 million views, and I got all these followers from it. And then I was forced to eat the soup for 2 weeks, and in anguish. It was not good soup. It was terrible. It was awful. But people loved it. And then I kind of I had more followers, so I did more stories and tried to do more of that. And I kind of one day I think it just kind of clicked oh, maybe people are interested in hearing what I have to say.
Yeah.
Maybe I could try stand up. And I hated my career so much. Hated it really, really bad. And I rage quit my job. And then that week I went to my first open mic.
Nice.
And now I don't do that career anymore. The career that
Do you want to say what it was?
I was a cancer pathologist.
Okay. I don't know what that is, but it sounds
so we
stressful.
read the tests for to basically diagnose stage of cancer and
shit.
The genes and stuff. So I worked in the laboratory for the Department of Pathology at WashU. So my job was training the AI to read the tests and stuff, and also running the clinical trials. So we had 5 clinical trials with 500 patients. And I don't know, I'm good at science, but it was not fun. I mean, cancer is not fun.
I don't think anybody thinks cancer's fun. That is true.
No, it's...
And you had to kind of be the one to decipher if somebody had it or not, in a way?
Yeah, we were doing stuff like that. So I worked on a team where we developed diagnostic tests.
Okay.
So we would create the machines that went in the pathology labs in the hospital. So they could put somebody's blood in there or a tumor biopsy, and then it would read it, give them the information. They could say, okay, this person for sure has this type of lymphoma.
Well, it sounds very helpful, but maybe not that fun.
No, it was terrible.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I was a professor before that for a little while. I've done a lot of jobs in science. I taught. I worked for an ingredients company making products for them. But I kind of, this is the most ass backwards thing, but I did science kind of as a rebellious thing, which is weird because most parents are oh, I'd love if my kid was a scientist or a doctor or a lawyer. But my parents don't really believe in science, so it was like the worst thing I could do to them to become a scientist. Because my mom's she's a kooky lady, and so she's so much happier that I'm a comedian, which is crazy.
Huh.
She loves it.
I've never heard of that dynamic.
Yeah,
Like
she's
somebody that's like, you're not gonna study science. You need to play football or volleyball.
she doesn't.
Or
Like,
I don't know.
I don't know. It's just weird. Like she doesn't.
It's not.
She doesn't
not
believe in
on board.
doctors. Like she doesn't trust doctors. So the fact that like I worked for a doctor made her really upset. Like during COVID, she called me one day, and I worked in a COVID lab during the time, and she was like, I figured out how to never get COVID. I'm just gonna put Scotch tape on my nose when I go outside. She got COVID 6 times.
So the Scotch tape might have been worsening somehow.
Oh, for sure.
I mean, it's not helping, obviously, but it's not.
She has a terrible immune system too, but
Damn.
she doesn't go to hospitals. She doesn't do medicine. She believes that garlic can cure everything. She's an old Italian lady. And so if we got sick, it was just like, here, eat a spoonful of garlic, or you cut yourself, put garlic in it, or put some olive oil on it, or seriously, that's how she treats everything. That's
No stitches, just some olive oil, huh?
no, I think in my life, I went to the hospital when I was born and then didn't go for like 10 years. And then I got a bunch of stuff fixed up and then didn't go again.
Well, you're still here. I mean, I guess
I
you
mean,
got lucky, or a combination.
We call my dad the human cockroach because he just won't die. But like people in my family, like they're very resilient. His appendix burst and he didn't go to the hospital for 48 hours and he lived.
Damn. Like that's like not common at all. Like,
No,
isn't
no.
it like if you don't get there within a
Yeah.
couple hours, usually you're fucked?
He just tried to walk it off and he was
Walking
fine.
off. Appendix burst is that's
He
tough guy.
He got hit by a dump truck on a bike too, and he was fine. Like he didn't even break a bone.
Damn.
And he was like 55. He wasn't young.
Is he Bruce Willis from fucking Unbreakable? Have you ever seen that?
If he did a bunch of meth, maybe, yeah. I think that's probably track.
Glass is the sequel to that. It works out. Okay.
Yeah, no.
Well, it sounds like you're smart and you've started doing comedy. Like I'm not going to tell you if that was smart or not. We'll see, but I get it. If you don't like what you're doing on a day-to-day basis, it does suck, and you're looking for other options.
Yeah. Well, and I make money doing the content, and I make cakes and stuff.
Yeah, I've had some of your
Yeah.
cookies and cake pops and stuff there. They're great.
Yeah, a lot of it's left over from my TikTok.
Okay.
So I just bring it and feed it to you guys. So it's mostly just leftovers.
I'll take
But
it.
you
I mean,
guys
I think
feel
we'll all take
special
it. Yeah.
about
I mean,
But-
it looks professional though. Like you got little boxes and you got like special little wrapping
Yeah,
things, and
that was funny. One time Spencer was like, "Where
you thought
you
you
get
bought
the
it?
boxes?" He was like, "Where do you do you make the boxes?" And I was like, "Yeah, I make all the boxes." And he was like, "What?" And I was like, "No, I buy them." What do you mean? Like, where do you think the bakeries get
Yeah,
them?
I mean, I thought you were buying them. I didn't think you were making them, but
He
like
thought I was constructing the boxes, and I was like, "Spencer, it's not that.
You
It
should have
was
kept
his
that
birthday,
going, yeah.
And he was like, "Wow, this is really special." I'm like, "You're not that special." I mean, but no, I sell I did Nick Farner. He's another new comedian. I made his wedding cake a few months ago.
Really?
Like I do, yeah.
So kind of do the videos and show what you're doing, and then do you ever? I mean, besides doing a wedding cake, do you sell the smaller items
Yeah.
at all too, or just
Yeah,
kind
I
of?
sell cookies to some of the comics sometimes. So be
Nice.
like, "Man, I bombed 4 times this week. Can you make me a dozen cookies?"
That's a good business right there.
Yeah,
You're gonna have
it's-
just a sustainable customer base of people bombing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
I mean, you just be friends with all the comedians that are struggling, and then that have money.
yeah.
And then, but like friends and family, like if somebody has a birthday, I'll make them a cake, and word of mouth usually gets around, and I don't have to sell a ton to like make profit, and I really don't care to like be a bakery anyway. It sucks.
See, I mean, you'd have to open up a storefront so now you're kind of just making them and letting people know you got them on Facebook or on social media.
Yeah, that, and it's typically like somebody will request something specific, and then I just videotape myself making that thing.
Gotcha.
Or someone will see something they like that I made online and ask for that thing. They're like, "Oh, I like that. That was cool. Can you make that?"
That's pretty cool.
And I get like brand deals, like they'll give me like kitchen stuff and like stuff to put in my house when I make a video, and I also edit videos for other people and run their social media, and like I just do everything and I make money somehow. I don't know. It's
That's
the game.
That's good
I
for
work
you.
Here,
Yeah,
I'm a door guy here.
Yeah. You're doing it
work.
all. You're doing it all.
I make more money doing this than I did as a scientist, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
They really ream you when you're a scientist. It's bad.
Scientists, teachers, I'd say everybody in those realms need to be paid more.
Oh, yeah.
That sucks, but well, I'm glad you're doing good. I don't know you that well. I got a little quick segment for you here called That's My Favorite. So I'll just throw some stuff out there. Let me know what your favorite is.
Okay.
Favorite band or musician?
Oh, that's kind of hard. Consistency-wise, like my whole life, I've always loved the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Like I've always loved them. They were the first CD I ever got was my brother's Red Hot Chili Pepper CD. But like more recently, there's a band called Floor that I've seen like 4 different times. And they're just like a smaller, it's cheap to go. So I always go. But it's like an indie, I like a lot of like indie rock, indie pop bands. Stuff like that. I like Metallica a lot, actually.
Me too. It's probably my favorite.
Yeah, my brother, I liked them before my brother got married, but when he got married, his first dance was to Nothing Else Matters. And that just always stuck in my head. Like, I just think that's such a unique thing to do.
And the wife was on board?
Oh,
she's a fan too? Okay, well, that's good.
Yeah, so they did that for their wedding, and I was like, that's so cool. So
that is cool. My wife would not have been down with that at all. But
no.
That's good. How about favorite SNL cast member of all time?
I mean, my family, we've always been fans of Belushi.
Okay.
I always like Belushi. That was a little before my time, though. So, like...
Definitely.
For me... But, like, my mom, she's just such a huge... Like, we were talking about Bill Murray and Belushi last night on the phone, actually. She just... A huge fan. I always loved Chris Farley. Chris Farley is one of my favorite comedians of all time.
Yeah, he's great.
He's so funny. He's great in everything. Newer cast, I love Andy Samberg. I love him. He's great. Yeah,
those are all good picks. I agree with all of them. You're in the food realm. Do you have like a favorite go-to meal at a restaurant or something like that?
At a restaurant. I usually make all my own food as I'm cheap.
Well, you're saving a lot of money. That's smart.
Yeah.
What's your favorite meal to make then?
I make a lot of pasta. I like to bake bread.
Okay. I don't even know. I would have no idea how to do that, but
kind of just wing it, in my opinion. But people always are like, "Now you're underselling it." But I don't know. I just kind of bread is just like flour, water, mix it up, shape it into something. But I like it. It's kind of therapeutic and like fresh. There's nothing better than hot, fresh bread. You know?
Yeah, that is true.
Like that's it goes with everything. It's good. Like. I will say when I go out to eat though, like food that I can't cook is what I'll go by. Like I'm not good at making Indian food. Like that's just like not my heritage. I don't know how to. I can do it, but it's always gonna be like white people Indian food. So I'm like, or like Chinese food, like fried rice from an actual Chinese place is always better.
Yeah,
than what I'm.
They know what they're doing. That's a good call. Okay. Do you have a favorite sitcom of all time?
I really like New Girl.
New Girl, okay.
I'm a big fan of New Girl. I always liked George Lopez growing up. I had a problem where I would watch that so much. My mom would like hear the Lowrider song come on in the middle of the night. She'd be like, "Go to bed." She'd just hear it start.
You better not be reading a science book either in there.
Right? Nah, I mean, I loved How I Met Your Mother when that was running. I mean, I still like it. Ended terribly, but... don't all sitcoms kind of end bad?
A lot of times they do. Yeah, they never get it right. A lot of the times, no. I've never seen a full episode of any of those.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm
not saying they're not good. I've just never got into them.
New Girl's a little newer. I didn't even see it until after it was kind of done coming out. But it's just a fun show. I like the dynamic, and like I feel like on every sitcom there's always like one character everybody kind of likes, and then all the rest of them are like, On New Girl, I feel like I like every character, and that's rare in a sitcom.
That's good.
Because like in Friends, it's like everybody kind of likes one person. The rest of them are like, you know.
Yeah, I get you.
Like,
isn't the girl's last name Day in that show?
yeah. Yeah, so you
I
need
knew
to watch
that.
this. Yeah.
Need that.
Yeah, he just keeps track on all the days.
Yeah.
He's got
Charlie Day, Always Sunny, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That is a sitcom, isn't it? I love It's Always Sunny.
That's a good one too.
I don't know why that is like in a separate category to me, as it's so unhinged.
Yeah.
But I love It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Yeah, that wouldn't be a go-to for a lot of people, but it is like a favorite, I would say.
Quote a
Top
lot of
5.
it. Well, I had a phase in high school where I wore a lot of cut-off sleeve shirts as I was a weightlifter. And so my family would all call me Mac because he wears cut-off sleeve shirts in the show. But it was a dark time. So I've since turned to sleeves again, and it's gone better.
Well, you can always go back if you want.
I shouldn't. It's not good.
So weightlifting in high school? Mm-hmm. Like, there was a competitive team or something?
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of cool.
We had AP Gym, which is crazy, but I was a nerd, so I was like, I have to take AP Gym. It boosts your GPA if you take AP classes.
Huh.
So we had like an advanced like honors gym. And so in the honors...
I've never heard of that.
I went to a really weird school. But yeah, I did honors gym because I was a nerd and I was like, I need a higher GPA, so I'm going to take the honors gym, even though I'm not physically fit in any way. And so you had to like we had to take a lot of tests on stuff, like on sports rules. And then you also had to weightlift like 3 days a week. And I got caught, actually. I tried to work on a bit about this a long time ago, but it never really worked. But I got caught swindling the other kids out of money, as I would like bet people I could lift them on the leg press, as we had one of those old style ones that you would just stack stuff on the platform. Mm-hmm. So I just put girls on the platform, and I was like lifting them on the leg press. And then the gym teacher was like, "Hey, do you want to like actually do this competitively?" It's like he was a trainer, and like you can make good money doing it. And then I just started, weightlifting, and I was the strongest girl in the school. Not out of the guys, I still wasn't able to lift more than them, but like I made like decent money on competitions.
Damn, that's cool.
Our senior year, everybody was kind of scared of me because of it, which didn't really help my popularity any. But they wanted to make our senior shirt just a picture of me with Whole Cans photoshopped on it and have it say Bree Smash. Because I scared all of the freshmen, and like the principal would threaten the freshmen, like if they were bad, he'd be like, "I'm gonna put you in a closet with her." And seriously, it's Sanitas. He used to do it.
All right. Well,
we had a small school.
I would do a small school too, so that's cool. But
we had 30 kids in our graduating class.
Man, that's smaller than mine actually. I think I was like 50-ish or something. Yeah.
We had drive your tractor to school day. It was
nice.
Yeah, it was wild.
So where was this at? In Illinois? Central Illinois?
This is like 40 minutes south of Chicago.
Okay.
I went to a school called Grant Park.
Grant Park, okay.
Grant Park High School. We had 3 gas stations and no grocery stores.
I mean, my town has no gas station or grocery store.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. But
man, I couldn't even.
It's not a competition, but you know. No, it's that's cool though.
How many gas stations does your town have?
Yeah.
Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Well, it seems like you're finding your ways to just get a niche market and make some money at it. You got the weightlifting, you got the bakery, you got comedy stuff, you got the videos. So that's great.
Yeah, I'm autistic, so I just find something to latch on. And I'm like, how can I make money at this?
This is too good. I just got to make some money at this. How about favorite Keanu Reeves movie?
I love The Matrix. I mean, that's classic.
Yeah, that's my favorite, probably.
I did see a wild movie with him in it recently where, like, he got tricked into, like, sleeping with underage girls. It's weird, and it's crazy. And me and my brother watched it.
Is it newer?
It's really new. I think it's
I feel like I know what you're talking about, but I haven't seen it.
And it's like, we were like, why is he in this?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't need to do this movie.
That's not his brand.
It was like so bad to a point where we're like, we should turn this off. But then we're like, we're halfway through. We should just see how it ends.
Yeah.
But like they end up like ruining his life, and like his wife isn't home and stuff. It's like crazy. But I'm just like, why are you doing this? I don't know.
So you have a favorite and a least favorite now.
By far, that's
okay. That doesn't sound great.
It's crazy.
Okay. Well, that was a segment. That's my favorite. I think we're going to take a quick little break here. Come back with more Breed Munich, everybody. All right, and we're back. Sitting here with Breed Munich. Talking comedy, we're talking baking, we're talking all kinds of stuff. We're going to go back into comedy a little bit. We talked about kind of how you started. Mm-hmm. Was it here you did your first open mic?
I was at Platypus.
Platypus, okay.
Platypus. I did my first mic. I sat down that day, wrote 5 minutes. Went to Platypus. Meredith put me up, and then afterwards I watched the whole mic, and then she flagged me down. She was like, "Hey, I want you to come to the show I'm doing tomorrow. Meet some other comedians." She said I did really good. I felt terrible about it, obviously. And then I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, I'll definitely go." And she's doing that Future is Female show, and I show up at the Heavy Anchor, and I was like, Meredith said to show up and give you my name, and then I could come watch the show. And I gave them my ID, and they were like, "Oh, you're on the show." I was like, "What?" And they were like, "Yeah, you're going to do a set." I was like, "Oh, no." And I went up to Meredith. I'm like, "I'm on the show." She's like, "Yeah, we had a dropout. You're going to do the show." And I was like, "I did my first set yesterday. I only have 5 total minutes." She's like, "It's all right. You'll do 5 to 7. I'm like, "Okay." So I went in the bathroom, and I just panic listened to my set on my phone, the audio recording. And I wrote a few other things down. And I went up there. It was bad. It was not good.
Well, you were also put on the spot like that. I wouldn't have been, if you're not ready to do it or preparing to do it a little, that throws you off a little too. Yeah. And you've only done it once.
Yeah, and I was just like, okay. And she really believed me, so I went and did it. People said I did good. I know it wasn't great. I walked around a lot. I was very nervous. And there was an actual audience. It wasn't an open mic where it's 3 people.
Uh-huh.
But I got through it. I actually got paid, which is nuts. I got paid to do comedy the second time I ever did it. And then I just started coming out ever since then. Honestly, probably I actually went to Golden Hoosier. I think the first time I went there is it's only once a month that they do the mic, that Molly does the mic.
Mm-hmm.
That was when I kind of the comedians all watched me, because in that room you kind of have to watch. And a lot of people watched me, and then they pulled me aside afterwards. They're like, "Why aren't you coming to the comedy club? What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I thought you had to be a certain level of good to do that." And they were like, "No, just go to the club."
Yeah.
And I thought you had to be a certain level to do the mic even. So I just wasn't coming. And they told me to come out, and then a few months later they hired me to work the door, and then just kind of now this is my life, and I just live at bars, and it's terrible.
No more science. No more science. All comedy. I gotcha.
Yeah, all comedy.
Yeah, well, you were definitely thrown into the deep end, it sounds like to start and go from there. But I'm glad it worked out. But
well, I don't know. At first, I was I was getting opportunities, and I was really hesitant about it. But I talked to a few people, and they're like, "Just don't turn down anything." They were like, "Even if you feel uncomfortable, just try it. If you're new, people are going to understand if you do really bad." So ever since then, I stopped turning down things. And I had to do a 20-minute set the other day, and I'm like, "That's nuts." As a 9-month comic, you shouldn't be letting me do that. But they asked me to do it, and I was like,
I don't disagree with that. I mean, if somebody asks you to do it, you might as well give it a shot and see how it goes.
Yeah.
I mean,
or a few months in, JC was going to have me do Wild Card, and I was like, "You want me as I think I was a 5-month comedian, to do 15 minutes on Wild Card with my 5 minutes of maybe jokes?" I was like, "There's no way, dude."
Had you ever seen it or watched it before?
Once, and I was
you've never done it, it's a little tricky because it used to be a mic.
Yeah, I've done the mic a few times now, and I was supposed to do a guest spot. I'm doing the show next month.
Okay.
It's still scary. I mean, that shows, but I also think that's exactly why I need to do it though.
No, I would recommend doing it for sure, and you'll learn something after doing it. But it is a different animal for sure.
The main thing that gets me is the impressions thing.
Some of those cards suck, man. You can get lucky and pick some that work well for you, or sometimes you'll see somebody get one and you're just like, fuck.
At the mic, I would always go last because people picked most of the bad cards already.
Uh-huh.
So I could strategically be okay. But I don't like to do the accents thing. or like you have to impersonate another comic, and like I just forget every joke I've ever heard when that happens. I'm like, I couldn't do anything but maybe Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Like once you say that, I forget everything I've ever heard in my life.
And they pick too, so I've got lucky on a couple of them and like kind of pulled off one of those. But like if they just say like, tell me to do Nikki Glazer, I'm like, oh, I'm not gonna be able to do that or something, or like they just give you something weird. But you'll do fine. It's
yeah. It'll be fine.
Yeah. I know, you wrote everything for your first set, so it was pretty much the job thing was, and then comedy. Did you wrote it the same day or the day before?
Same day.
Same day. Okay.
Wrote it the same day. I don't use any of that, obviously. I trashed all that material about a week later. It
Yeah.
was terrible. It was all awful. But I started out trying to do stories. And then as a new comic, I was just like, you know what? I don't think I'm skilled enough to really do stories. So I moved away from that, and my comedy's not really story-based anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm doing a lot better because of it. I think I was watching, like, Bill Burr, I think, and he was talking about the fact that the first 3 years he did comedy, he didn't do stories. Is he wanted to prove to himself he could write a joke.
Mm-hmm.
And he could write a good punchline. And then he went back and did stories. And I was just like, that makes sense to me. I was like, I like that. Like,
Yeah, I mean, if it's working for you, I mean, do what's working, you know?
yeah, like I do maybe small snippets from my life or something, but it's generally more observational just because I think as a newer comic it's easier to do that than to be. And it also hurts less when you bomb with impersonal material, right?
Yeah.
When you bomb and it's like a story about your childhood, it's like, fuck, I suck. It's like, I'm a terrible person. You know, it feels worse. You're like, oh, I thought this was an interesting tidbit about my life and nobody gave a shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, bombing's never fun, but there are certain situations like that where it stings a little more or something. But you just got to, just kind of evolve, see what's working, what's not, and keep it rolling. But
it's easier to build confidence, I think, as a new comic, doing like one-liners and then building them up. It's kind of my strategy. I write one line and then I kind of just keep adding to it.
Yeah, it's not a bad strategy. So is that kind of your writing process now? You're just trying to write smaller stuff and then build and kind of subtract and add a little?
Yeah, I kind of will think of a funny line. Like I usually think of the punchline of the joke first. And then I figure out how to get the people there.
That's not a bad strategy either, yeah.
After, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, I have a lot of jokes that started like that. Like, the first joke, like, my first real joke is a joke about, like, W ruins everything. And, like, look at the NBA. Everybody loves the NBA until you add W to it. And that was the first line of that joke I thought of. And then I had to backtrack all of it. And now it's like a minute and a half long bit.
Yeah.
But it's like, that was the first, I just thought that was dumb. Like, oh, yeah, W ruins everything. What else, what does it ruin? The NBA.
Yeah.
You know, and I just kind of do that with a lot of stuff where it's like just one stupid thing I thought of and then I work backwards. And usually the premise is like not at all how I got to thinking of it necessarily in my head.
Yeah, I mean, if you know the one line works, then if you do it at the end, it should work. And then, I mean, that's not a bad strategy.
Yeah.
Good deal. Any favorite comedians, like a top 3?
Oh, I love James Acaster. I don't know if you know him.
I don't think so.
He's a British comedian. I got to meet him actually. He's just like a very animated guy. He's very ADHD. He's just really funny. I like British comedians a lot. They have a very different style. He's probably my favorite. I also love Pete Holmes. I've seen him multiple times. I love Mark Normand. I've seen him a few times too. I saw him with Dan Soder. That's hard to choose between the two of them. Dan, he crushed when I saw him.
I've never seen Dan live. I've seen Mark Normand live, and he was definitely a very funny guy. Well, that's a good top 3, top 4-ish.
It's hard to choose. I mean,
it is. There's a million. You can't pick 3 or 5 or whatever, but it's a good list. Do you have a best and or worst show in your 8 months so far?
I had a pretty bad show just a few weeks ago. I was doing kind of like a string of road shows, and it was just the room was not for comedy. It was just
Like a bar kind of setup,
it was
or
a bar in Edwardsville that we did, and I got called up on the God mic. And the guy who's running the show, like, I'm friends with him and all, and, like, it was great. But, like, he was on the phone with his wife while he was calling me up on the God mic. He was just very frazzled. And the people did not know what was happening when I got called out.
oh yeah,
And then
not
they were
great.
sitting in front of the door I had to get into the room in, so I, like, couldn't get out. And so, like, there was such a delay from when I got announced to when I got on the stage. And then it's just, like, at that point, I just couldn't really get them at any point. And then there was this super drunk lady just heckling the shit out of me. Like, so bad. To a point where it was just like, I had to be like, dude, just shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Like, in front of everybody. And it was just like, easily one of the hardest bombs I've had. And it was a packed room. There was like 60, 70 people in there. Like, there's no reason I should have bombed that hard.
Well, it doesn't sound like a good setup either. If most people don't know a comedy show is going to happen, or
Well, no, they paid for tickets to a comedy show.
Okay, there just wasn't any kind of
it was like you're still in a bar
intro.
setting and nobody's like facing the stage. They're all just eating
yeah.
burgers. They're all, So it was like already an uphill battle, but I was just like, geez, they really hate me. And like basically everybody bombed except for the headliner. She got them, but by then they were kind of done eating. I also will say the first time I ever hosted here, so I hosted for the first time in like January. And my first, I think it was the first Friday show, I started doing my closer, and there was this table of, like, frat dudes right at the front. And I heard them right as I started my closer go, I've heard this at the open mic. It fucking sucks. Like, super loud. And I just had to keep going. And I was like, oh, this is terrible. Like, this is so bad.
That's a tough one there, but
that sucked. That was pretty bad.
I used to host a weekly open mic in St. Peter's, and I told a joke, and the guy, there was just a random guy that was there the week before. He's like, I heard this last week. I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like, some of these are going to be this similar. I'm doing 10 every week or whatever. I can't do a new 10 every
nobody
every
wants
show.
you to do a new 10 every show. It's terrible. Don't do it.
But,
That was,
it happens.
I've done plenty of bar shows where it's like, there's no people. I mean,
no people, or they're not. I don't know what's worse, no people or people that actively don't want you to be there.
Yeah.
I've done a show where it was like opening night of the Blues, and everybody was just like talking as loud as they could and booing, and everybody was pissed that we were there.
Yeah.
So that it happens. Have you got any advice from anybody yet that, or like when you first started, that you hung on to at all?
I think when I first kind of like was coming out a lot and was getting a few like opportunities at the club and like getting up more, and the main thing, like Jack pulled me aside and he was like, the biggest issue for you right now is, he's like, you do not seem like you're having fun doing this. He was like, you need to have fun doing comedy and it'll improve you a lot. And so I focused on that and like trying to remove the anxiety of like, it's not even that I have stage fright. It's that like I get nervous about doing bad in front of the other comedians, because I'm like, oh, I'm so new, they're just going to think I'm trash, Like I feel like there's a bar I'm trying to like live up to.
I got you.
And so he was like, you need to stop. We all bomb. You've seen us all bomb. You know that it happens. We're not going to judge you for that. Like, you need to just have fun and actually enjoy comedy, and not, because I do comedy in a somewhat scientific way. Like I spreadsheet all my jokes.
Oh,
and I have like all the tags. Like, it's bad. It's really nerdy. It's awful.
I mean, if it works
and like
for you.
all the bits timed out, how many laughs per minute, how many, what parts work, what don't. It's color coded. It's terrible. But he told me that, and I think that like shifted it a lot for me, where I was like, okay, it's not just like a race to get accepted. It's no, do what you're gonna do and enjoy it. And then I recently did some spots with John Morgan, and he told me, he was like, your writing's good. He's like, for where you're at, like you're good and all this. Like I like your premises and ideas. He's like, the thing though is that you need to sell it. He's like, you're not selling hard enough. You need to sell it. And he told me that after I did the first show, and then on the second show, I smoked a little weed. And then I sold it harder, and I did way better. Way, way, way better. And I think I've been doing better since then. that I've been like owning the premises a little more, because sometimes I do edgier stuff sometimes, and sometimes I'll back away on it a little bit if audiences hate it. I'm like, well, okay, come on, guys. And he's like, don't do that shit. He's like, just own it.
He sells it for sure. He's
a seller.
He's a salesman for sure.
Yeah.
But that's good advice. Yeah, that's good. Well, 8 months in or whatever, I think you're doing pretty good.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Any shows coming up or any other? I mean, you got shows tonight, obviously.
Yeah, I got shows tonight. I've got May 10th. I run a venue on Cherokee Street. It's an art gallery we do shows at. We have Dan Alton. I don't know if you've ever met him, but he comes through ever so often. He's kind of like tours the Midwest kind of guy, but he's a goofy little comedian. I don't know. It's just goofy is a good way to describe him. But he's coming to do our venue. He's gonna headline. I'm gonna open. And then I have Wild Card as well. And then I've got some shows booked out in August. I'm doing a show in Tennessee in June, and I'm doing Chicago in June. So
nice. Got some stuff going. That's cool. Yeah. Got another segment. Let's get into it. Hopefully, we got some stuff to talk about here, I think. Yeah. It's called 3 Wishes. I can get us started here. Yeah. It's a dumbass segment. I think I've only done it twice, but we're going to do it. Basically, just kind of rattling off some wishes that not necessarily are life-changing or, immortality or anything like that, but just are nice to have. My first one is that my shoes never come untied.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Just tie them once and then...
But how do you get them off?
I do it right now. Like, I just tie them loose and then I just slip them off and on.
Yeah, because you wear those old man New Balances.
I mean, they're Nikes, but they are Nikes. Old man. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I could only see the top.
Yeah.
They look New Balancey to me.
They're pretty New Balancey.
I also just picture you in New Balances. So
I haven't pulled the trigger yet, but I'm very close.
I know. I can see it in your eyes.
Yeah.
No, I guess that's fair. I have a lot of shoes where I could not do that, but it would be nice if they never came untied. There's Velcro.
Yeah, but that's not a good look. That was even cool as a kid.
No.
You had Velcro shoes, you were getting made fun of.
Oh, for sure.
Or the light-up shoes were cool for a minute, and then once you hit a certain age, they were not cool at all.
Yeah, nothing's worse than having light-up shoes that the batteries died in.
Yeah.
And so they're just not even. It's oh man, you can tell that you got them from the thrift shop. Thrift shop. It's not good.
It's not great. Oh. Well, that's my first one. You got one?
Yeah. I've thought about this year, but I've always wanted to stay in a treehouse.
Okay.
I've never been in a treehouse.
Just visit one or live in one?
I don't know. If I liked it, maybe I'd stay. I don't know. I have no frame of reference. I've never been in a tree. I didn't have the parental figures to build me a treehouse. That's for sure. But I never lived in an area where kids had treehouses. So I just have always been intrigued by living in the trees.
Yeah. And, I think it'd be pretty cool. I mean, it depends on who built it, too. I've been in a couple shoddy ones that my friends had built and when I was a kid. This is a piece of shit. We can't stay in here. But that treehouse show that's on, you ever watch that?
No. Oh, yeah.
You would like that show. There's this dude, and he's all about tree houses, and they'll build I don't know how much they cost. They must cost $50,000. I don't even know.
Oh,
but you could live in that.
Yeah, they've got Airbnb tree houses. Eventually I'm going to stay in one.
That'd be cool.
I'll somehow plan a show to where I can stay in a tree house.
Yeah.
For sure, and that'll work out for me.
You can finally dip your toe in the water of tree houses and because you can't go down from that. Cuz if it's nice enough to live in, it's going to be hard to go a little kid treehouse.
Oh, yeah.
After that, just to pop your head in.
Yeah, you got to go luxury treehouse first, and then,
Yeah.
I don't know. I just think, why? If I'm going to be in the woods, why be in, a tent when I could be in a treehouse?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. How many Airbnb tree houses are there?
There's a lot.
There's a lot?
There's so many.
Around here or just in general?
No, not around here.
Pacific Northwest?
There's a lot in Tennessee and stuff.
Tennessee, okay.
There's a lot of trees there.
Well, you're doing the show in Tennessee. Just stay in the treehouse and commute to the show.
I'm bringing someone with me, and they don't have treehouse vibes.
Oh.
I don't think they're going to like that.
Well, You can run it by him. It's like, if you don't want to stay in a treehouse, I'm bringing somebody else.
I've been trying to get friends to stay in a treehouse with me for like 5 years. I've been trying to plan this treehouse trip. I just want someone to want to be in the treehouse. I don't know. No one wants. They're like, it's too expensive to be in a tree and not in a real house. I'm like, but it is a real house. It's just in a tree.
Yeah, it's probably not more than a regular Airbnb, is it?
It depends. Depends on how high the treehouse is and
how nice it is, I guess.
What area is the treehouse near?
Yeah.
You know? Like I was gonna go to a Seattle treehouse. That was an expensive treehouse.
That's probably expensive.
Expensive treehouse, yeah. Tennessee treehouse is cheap.
Okay. Well, you got goals for the treehouse. That's good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna run another one by you. I wish that I looked good in a hat. I don't know why. I just can't. Any kind of baseball hat or anything I put on, it's not good.
What kind of hat? I don't know. What kind of hat? I think you could pull off maybe a bucket hat.
I had a bucket hat when I was like 6, but I don't think I've put one on since then.
Yeah, I think that's more your style. Your
bucket hat's my style. Okay.
Yeah, I think you could maybe a beanie. I don't know. I mean, that fits any head shape.
A fedora? I don't know. Probably
maybe.
not.
I don't know. Yeah.
I'm just thinking. I mean, I have some
maybe like
baseball.
A newsy cap.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I have a few baseball hats, and every time I put it on, it's just doesn't fit right, or it just doesn't.
You know, they have
look
like.
Good.
Do you have like a big head or something? Is it like a?
I think I got a pretty big head, but it just doesn't look. I don't know. It just doesn't fit right. It depends on the hat too. Like sometimes you'll get like a fitted hat that fits pretty good, but I don't know. It just doesn't look right.
Yeah, you need like a hat tailor.
Yeah.
You need to get a tailored hat.
A cowboy hat, maybe.
I don't think you should wear a cowboy hat. You are the least cowboy person I think
I'm from the country.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, but you wear Nikes. I don't know.
Yeah. New Balances and cowboy hat could be my new look.
You do seem just very neutral urban to me.
Okay.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know.
You're not wrong. I'm in St. Charles now. And yeah. Pretty neutral. But
pretty neutral.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like country people are always kind of riled up, you know?
Yeah, I'm pretty chill for the most part.
All the time.
I can get riled up, I guess, but as a rule. And I thought I was going to do a Fu Manchu at one point, too.
No.
I still think I could pull that off, but.
Oh, maybe.
Fu Manchu, it would be a shock. It would be a shock for a while, but if I had a Fu Manchu and a hat.
Yeah.
That's a different look.
Get one of those hats, yeah.
Yeah.
That would work for your head shape, I think.
Yeah. I'm just kicking things around here. But if I wished, I'd look good in a hat, I wouldn't have to worry about it.
That is true. Yeah. That is true.
You got anything else?
Ooh. I always think this when it rains, but I wish I had little windshield wipers for my glasses.
Okay.
When it rains.
Yeah.
It just makes me so angry. I can't see anything, so I have to take them off anyway, and then I'm blind. And then it's like a horrible situation. You never have a thing to wipe your glasses off. I don't know. I just think it would be fun.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Could you invent that maybe? You had the science background.
I probably could, but like, that's just a lot of work.
You ever wear contacts?
No. I don't got time for that. Also, like, every time I take my glasses off, everybody's like, don't do that. And I don't know. So then I just keep them on. Like, I took my glasses off once in front of Andrew Gaffigan, and he's like, the teeth are enough. You can't take the glasses off. I was like, okay. So they're part of my identity, I think.
Huh.
Like, I don't know. Like, a lot of the comedians call me lesbian Harry Potter because of them. So it's just part of me, I guess.
Okay.
I don't know.
Fucking Gaffigan and these comedians giving you the business.
Yeah.
Huh.
I don't know.
Well, that's something to strive for again. You got the tree houses. You can invent the windshield wipers. Yeah. Go on Shark Tank, something like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're going to sell a lot of them, but you'll sell.
I think I'd sell some.
Just price them high.
They could also, like, you could put the windshield wipers for, like, eyeglasses on, like, tiny cars. Like a Stuart Little car.
Yeah.
Like, there's some other markets for tiny windshield wipers. I don't know.
Yeah,
you could put a little tiny windshield wiper on your side mirrors. I don't know why you'd need to, but you could.
You're stretching a bit, but, you might as well. If you're going to invent it, you might as well look at other avenues.
I don't know, like, I don't know. Tiny homes.
Tiny homes. It could happen.
I'm sure there's other things that need windshield wipers that don't have them.
Yeah. I was just thinking, if you wore contacts when it was raining, then you wouldn't have to worry about it. But I don't want to kill your dream here.
Sometimes, sometimes I just wear a hat when it rains. But then you got to do your hair and stuff, and
Yeah.
and you can't use a wish on looking better in hats and
Umbrella.
That's a lot of carrying.
I mean, it's only one hand. It's not like
I always got all the stuff.
Okay.
That's too. I can't. Giving up one hand for that long is a lot.
Dryness.
It's a lot. As a woman, we got to carry a lot of stuff.
Okay. I think a backpack and a umbrella might solve your problem, but that's all right. I got one more. This one's kind of whimsical. You mentioned Harry Potter, but always having $40 in my wallet.
Oh, that's a good one.
So
that's good.
I spend $20 here or there every time I go back. It's 40 still.
Yeah.
Kind of not real, but that'd be cool. I'm not asking for $1,000 either. It's just $40. Not trying to be greedy, just having $40 in the wallet at all times.
Yeah,
it's good for tips. It's good for bars and stuff. I like having a little cash.
Yeah. I feel like if I did that version of that, and this could be my third wish, unlimited butter.
Okay.
I need so much butter for baking.
You're a baker.
If I could just have like 4 sticks of butter in my fridge at all times, my life would be so much better.
Yeah.
Just 4 sticks of butter at all times. The amount of times I have to go get butter, it's ridiculous.
How long does butter last? It's probably got a pretty short.
It.
Okay.
I have a whole section of my freezer is just butter. People have to think I have a problem. Like it's just butter sticks. But
butter versus margarine. Obviously, margarine isn't as good, but
I kind of like margarine.
What is margarine?
It's like oil instead of real.
That's
butter
all we
fat.
had, I think, when I was a kid.
Yeah,
it was
most
just
people
the country crock thing. That's
Yeah.
margarine, right?
I kind of like it. I don't know. I grew up on it, so I kind of like it.
It's fine,
It's not
but
great for baking, but I like it, and it's cheaper, and I like cheap stuff.
Yeah.
But also, like, I was vegan for a long time, so margarine was the way to go because it's the alternative.
Okay.
But I don't know. I think people knock on margarine too much. It's like, not everybody's got money, You got to cut corners somewhere.
Yeah, I'd still use it. I just was not exact. I knew butter was better, but we didn't have it around.
Yeah.
So I should get some butter.
Yeah, I do always think that, like, I should learn how to churn my own butter. But that seems like a lot of work.
Yeah, if you're not willing to hold an umbrella, it's gonna be tough.
Hey, you got a point on that. Well,
isn't there? I don't see a lot of videos, but isn't there like a jar thing that has like a crank? Is that how you do it?
You can do the crank, or you can do the barrel and the jammy
Does
thing.
anybody still do that?
Yeah, the Amish.
Well, yeah, but besides them,
no. I don't know.
Or if you had like one of those whisking bowl things, is that a thing?
Oh,
Could you do butter with that?
I think you probably could. It'd probably take forever, burn up the motor. But I think you can technically, I think, just make butter by like shaking it and separating the whey from the butter. But I don't know. I've made ice cream by just shaking it. We used to do that for our science stuff.
How does that work?
So like how
just put all the ingredients in a can or something, or a jar?
You put all the ingredients in a bag, and then you zip it up, and then you put it in a bigger bag that has rock salt in it. And so, like, when you put salt on the road, it melts the ice, right? Because it lowers the freezing point.
Mm-hmm.
So when you put salt on the ice cream and ice, it lowers the freezing point of the ice cream, so it freezes faster. And so then you shake it, it turns into ice cream.
I'll be damned.
Yeah, it's fun. We used to do it with liquid nitrogen, too. That was fun.
Pretty cool. Science and baking and food stuff. That's right up your alley.
Yeah, baking is just science you can eat. That's all it is.
That's your new tagline, I think, for your channel right there.
Right?
All right. Well, I know you got the show, so we'll wrap things up here. Thanks for doing it. Where can people find you? Social media, that kind of stuff.
Bring Munich Comedy everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. I post shows on there, my content. That's basically it.
Cool. All right. That's the podcast. I want to thank Bree Munnich for being on the show. Thanks for listening and or watching Back of the Room.